I did the vertical thing again. Whoops. Unintentional this time. I intended to do this one horizontal. But, okay, well, I can do vertical. All I do for vertical is that. And, loosened it. Alright, well, I am facing the wrong direction. So, the subway down the way is closed. Whoops. So I'm at the park, but I'll be walking down to the ice building. That's less of a big deal than normal because this is a topic night, and we're going to discuss topics, news of the day, and last time we talked about the 4 boxes that defend our freedoms. This time, we need to talk about, oh, come on, let go of you. We need to talk about the need for people to vote with one of the 2 parties. And I hate that this is necessary. But it really is. I'm adjusting us a little bit. There you go. We unfortunately live in a 2-party system, and at the point when the election happens, and kind of at the point when the primary happens a little, but definitely at the point when we're having the general election, unless there is a really strong third-party candidate, it is possible, but it doesn't tend to happen very often. The Democrat or the Republican will win. And if you believe, as I do, that the Republican Party currently is dangerous to our very way of life, the Democrat or the Republican is going to win. This is where the whole vote blue no matter who thing comes from, because we're dealing with kind of an existential threat. And as much as those of us who are more progressive want the corpo-centrist, moderate, whatever you want to call them, liberals to realize that they are negotiating with fascists on how much fascism we're going to have, and not do that, instead choose to reject the idea of an authoritarianism-based system of government. You know, the stuff that I actually believed when I was a Republican. Individual liberties, original intent of the Constitution, you know, all that bullshit that Republicans used to spout and pretend like they believed. They sure as hell don't now that it's basically Donald Trump's way or the highway. And this is where, you know, my friend Michael, who dropped by our stream, he's a libertarian. And he had to admit that, yeah, he likes some of the things Donald Trump did, but he's looking at a lot of the rest and going, the fuck, dude? Well, I'm looking at a lot more of it and going, what the fuck, dude? In fact, just about everything in the second term, and a fair amount of what was in the first term, too, actually. But, I'm not willing to cede ground to an authoritarian regime, if I could talk. I'm going to need to get over a bit, I think. Yep. That's what the cane is useful for. It tells me when I get there before I get there. If you're going to reject the idea of authoritarianism and you want to see what was enshrined in the Constitution as our rights actually mean something in reality, then, you know, you've got to vote like it matters. Because it does. And I think we are about to see, you are waiting for me to go. Okay, I'm going. Them waiting at this intersection is never a guarantee. If you want to say no to authoritarianism and you're on the right, you're probably either going to not vote because you cannot bring yourself to vote for a Democrat, or you're holding your nose and voting for a Democrat. Now, I hope they do that, and I hope you'll do that, because at this point, in just about every race in the country, you don't have a choice anymore. If you want to oppose authoritarianism, you can choose to passively take part by not voting, or, and this is something that I disagree with people like Hassan Piker, because we don't share, I mean, when it comes to like, Israel has just become straight up bad. Yeah, they have. Under Netanyahu's government, Israel is bad. But under Trump's government, America is bad. Ooh, some lovely clouds. I'll have to get a shot of those when I get sat down. Oh, gotta push a button for this one. We need to stop this first. And that likely means voting for people you ain't gonna be happy with. And that fucking sucks. We should be able to vote for people we want to win. If we're going to do that, if we're going to be able to do that, we have to start a lot sooner. And we didn't do that this year. Because if we want more people that we want to win, we needed to have started last year. Right now it's kind of a holding action. And, I mean, we can gain ground. Republicans are likely to lose the House. I mean, pretty much everybody figures that that's normal for the midterm after a president is elected. They lose votes in the House. Trump is going to lose more than a few. And that's good. He might even lose control of the Senate, and that's good. It just got a little harder because of this election decision. We'll talk about that after I'm sat down. It is warm and sticky out here. Warm and sticky enough. I'll show you guys in a minute. I am wearing shorts. Not that it does me any good. So here we are at the ice building. There are people off that way, but I don't film them up. I don't go over there while they're over there, because I do not want to be I don't want to be identifying people over there who don't want to be identified, basically. So I will stay over here. Oh, come on, you. This thing kind of wants me to have taken out the chairs first, just the way things are stacked at the moment. And I am not prepared to do it that way. There we go. Love you, Tryman! All right. I do believe that was a 35. All right. Let me drop you guys on the tripod here. And I will flip it this way for a moment. So, let me tilt a little. So y'all can see shorts. Not that it does me any good. Doesn't do me any good because I have these compression wraps. I've literally got my legs wrapped in neoprene. It's hard for shorts to do much good for you when you're basically wearing a wetsuit on your legs. I'm going to turn the camera. We'll see in a moment. All right, so here we are, camped in. I did not turn the camera around. All right, we are camped in front of the ice building. Oh, and the clouds have gone away. Boo. Do not need a battery yet, but we do need the weight. Sorry for the setup time, guys. Again, when I get the second device, this will all become a lot faster and easier to do because it will be literally just the tripod again, and I won't need this boom, because to read chat and whatnot, I will be able to just, you know, use the second device. That's what it is for. Now, the second device is likely to be this phone, because the phone I'm looking to get is going to have a substantially better camera. I have a video. It is less than a minute long. It has no audio. It was just what Heather put together with her 25T. The 27T is similar but newer. It is 535 right now. The goal is set at 500. I will take care of the rest myself. And we are, because of last week, there was, I think it was last week, there was a PayPal contribution notice for $200. Fucking awesome. And with PayPal, I get to keep most of it. PayPal and Venmo, I get to keep most of it, like 97% or 96% or so. So it was like 192 and maybe a little change. The person who did that wishes to be anonymous, but I will thank him anyway because that is so fucking cool. The link in the pinned comment is my coffee, since Nightbot is not Nightbotting. Chris, if you did something to make Nightbot go away, it worked. Unfortunately, I can't figure out how to get him back now. Maybe he got banned, but I didn't see him on the ban list, so that's irritating. Maybe it was just a timeout, or maybe it doesn't work when I... Oh ho! He's unbanned! Okay. I see it. Okay, cool. It maybe just doesn't work until I start the stream properly. I started a stream with just myself on it, and it wasn't working when I was trying to use the commands. I will set it to do like a timer to remind people to like the video and whatnot, but I have not done that yet. And maybe you have actually, by the looks of it, because you actually did it with the coffee alias, which was a good alias to put in. I didn't do that, but it looks like you did. That is probably that is probably the coolest way for people to contribute, because it doesn't give me like your address, and you may not want me to have your address, and I don't need to have your address and want to conveniently forget that I've got it. That's the problem with PayPal. Venmo, not everybody has a Venmo, but you know, any of these things work. But coffee, I've let it take 5% to help run their site. 5% is, you know, I can afford it. So it ends up being about 8.5% that doesn't come to me, but that's fine. Most of the super chats and whatnot are like $2, $3, $5, $6 anyway. So if you're doing it that way, that's fine. It's just that the coffee will actually theoretically tell YouTube that it's happened. So you'll actually get like a message when you contribute that way. Why is that link not a link? HTTPS hangout-fi.com/haveanothertaco is, you should be able to go to that. Anyway, so I was talking about the need to vote. And to vote for, a candidate who can actually win and make the best choice you can. And I mean, I'd even say this to the MAGA people. You need to vote for the best choice you can. And if you are thinking Trump is the most awesome motherfucker who ever lived and you want him to be dictator for life, you should be voting for him. And you should be voting for his people, because that's how this country works. I think you're insane for doing that, but the way our country works, if that is what you want, that is what you should be voting for. I don't. So I will vote for not that. And at this point, not that winds up meaning Democrat. I suspect Republicans will only be voting Democrat if they vote at all. If they're done with Trump, they're not likely to vote in the midterm, and they might not vote for president either if it ends up being somebody who's just going to continue the MAGA. I don't think it will be, though. So you could probably count on them voting in the midterms, either for Democrats or not voting at all. You should be voting for Democrats if you're not a Republican, but I would urge them to vote for Democrats at least this term as well. And the next time they have the opportunity to vote, if they're still Republicans, don't count on them to vote for a Democrat again. Because why would they? If they are Republicans and they're still Republicans, changing sides is going to be a temporary measure for them. But since you don't really have a choice beyond the two that are on the ballot, because I mean any others that are there aren't really choices that mean anything right now. That's the whole idea of minimizing harm, at least as I see it. And I mean, I'm looking in Oregon at anybody I would be voting for in Oregon at the national level. I don't want them there. And actually, most of the people at the local level as well. I don't want them there. But I don't really have, at this point, an alternative. On the subject of elections, John Roberts has given Trump the go-ahead to, John Roberts has said, even if it turns out that it's illegal to stop any mail-in ballots, and even though I vote by mail-in ballot, I'm going to stop all of yours. But even though that's illegal, I get to do it because I'm Donald Trump. You won't get to do it later, but I can do it now. And John Roberts has said, yep, he gets to do it. Because it's not actually something you can file a lawsuit about until it hasn't been done, at which point we'll say it's too late, it's already been not done. They're playing this legal game where the case isn't relevant until after it's happened, but after it's happened, it isn't relevant because it's too late, it's already happened. And that way of doing things is flat out bullshit. Yeah, I didn't go out to last night's events, and when I had time to watch it, Katie was asleep, so I wasn't going to play MAGA being complete asshats and loud and obnoxious and also violent. I just didn't need to go there. Didn't need to give them the press. Okay, that's funny. This is the Portland Ice Building. And we are here because we think they're assholes. We are tired of them kidnapping and torturing and sometimes raping and murdering anybody, really. They have so exceeded their mandate to go after the rapists and the murderers, the worst of the worst. They're arresting people who are citizens. They're arresting people who are not citizens but have legal status until they take it away from them. And then they say, see, they're not legal. They were until 5 minutes ago, you fuckwad. Well, they're not legal anymore. By the way, guys, since we have 3 of our 5 already, we now have 4. One more and I'll have a Tuesday stream for you tomorrow. And that counts for, you know, any of the other ways you can contribute to the coffee, the PayPal, Venmo, any way you do it. If there's a second one, and there may already be, I will be out there tomorrow. They sound like they're having fun over there. So one thing you need to do, we are just a month and a half away from the election at this point. No. Somebody said 40-something days, but no, it can't be. It's not September yet. Oh, it's 40-something days until the first, like, early voting ballots go out. Okay. Like to our troops and whatnot. That's what it was. Yeah, that's the next thing to talk about is the Jeffries and Kushner meeting. That is not a bus, by the way. The Jeffries Kushner meetings, that is, it could be a formality, but realistically what it is what it realistically is negotiating with MAGA and Trump on how much fascism we're going to have. Again, my goal is to say, let's not at all. Hey! Okay. I mean, I'm sure you think that the people sitting across the street from me over there playing with the little one are bad people out to cause chaos. If you watched Pretend Media last night, you saw who was causing the chaos. Now, I disagree with Hassan Piker on many things. First and foremost is I disagree with Hassan Piker about the whole, well, I'm just not going to vote. I'm not going to vote. Nope. I can't participate, so I'm going to do nothing, which is participating, damn it. When you have a choice to act or not act, choosing not to act is still making a choice. And if the default is something you don't want, you have still chosen that thing because you've chosen to allow the default. Kushner's office is not really an office. He's just Trump's personal ambassador that is appointed by him and approved by nobody. So one thing that I am concerned about is this stupid trade war with Canada is designed to, I mean, it's literally designed to destroy the relationship that the United States has with Canada so that it cannot easily be rebuilt even once he's gone. And even so tired was saying, yeah, that relationship is gone. That was the point. It was deliberately intended to be gone. And I don't know if you've noticed, our relationship with pretty much all of our other allies is also gone. Europe is basically forming NATO with Trump. And really, NATO without the United States. Arguing that the United States has too big of a role. And they do. The United States has too big of a role in NATO. And actually what's weird is Trump would have been the first person to say that. Now, for different reasons. Trump is following the Miller doctrine. Stephen Miller considers Europe to be an enemy, Taiwan to be an enemy, Japan to be an enemy, China to be a frenemy, Russia to be an ally, which means Ukraine is an enemy. Although weirdly, Iran is an enemy, but Russia is an ally of Iran, so the friend of my friend is my enemy, and that's okay somehow. The thing is, Lisa, building takes time. Destroying takes almost none. And I mean, that is something that the riots in Portland in 2020, and it's very likely that some of the people I know took part in those riots. And I will straight up tell them. Hello, Heather. I recognize the lights. There was a lot of property destruction in 2020. And a lot of people who are of the more extreme sort on the left are like, it's just property, man. It can be replaced. Not easily and not cheaply. Like, on the 4th, and you guys didn't get to see that video because somebody managed to successfully make a privacy complaint against the video, which is dumb, but they were able to do it, so you guys don't get to see that. On July 4th, I was worried that they were going to destroy the elk statue, and thankfully they did not. And a lot of people on the left are thankful that they didn't, destroy the elk statue. But the reason why the elk statue there was so much concern is because somebody did destroy it in the 2020 riots. It took years to replace that, to repair and replace it. But it probably took 10 minutes to destroy it. This is one of the reasons why I favor protest. I don't support riots. You often see me speak against violence. And the reason for that is because we have a bus coming. We love you, TriMet! Oh, we get two! We get two, guys! We love you, TriMet! Did that child just scream, fuck yeah? Or did she say bus yeah? She might have said fuck yeah. Which is hilarious. Her parents are over there, so if they don't mind her using that kind of language. And I mean, she lives in the low-income building. So she hears fuck ice all the time. And she's brown. So she's growing up with the idea that ice is a threat to her life. Despite the fact that, as far as I know, well, I'm actually sure she's a citizen. And actually, given that the building she lives in is low income, and people who are not citizens don't qualify to live there, her parents are citizens too. Teach them when and why. So anyway, on the subject of chaos, last night, Hassan Piker spoke in Portland. And from what I understand, one of our hotheads who's usually totally willing to have a fight, well, one of the MAGA folks who is, well, my experience with this guy is that he pulled up at like 2 in the morning or 1:30 in the morning. He pulled up right over here, not 10 feet from where I'm sitting right now, and started heckling. It was Heather, me, and some guy who'd been drinking. And he kept trying to lure the guy who'd been drinking over to his car. And we told the guy, if you go over there, you're going to get pepper sprayed. He's with the MAGA people, and they lure people over to the window and then pepper spray them, so don't do it. So he won't go over there, so this dude jumps out of his car. And a moment later, he's like threatening to kill this guy who'd been drinking. So I read his, I started streaming and I read his license plate. Then he starts, turning attention to me. And I understand that he actually assaulted a veteran. Actually, active service, military. And the reason why the charges were dropped against him was because the guy that he attacked was deployed. and therefore no longer available to testify. So no crime anymore, charges dropped. So the guy's got a history of violence. Anyway, he dropped his phone. Spider Mike, picked up his phone and tried to return it to him. Like, it's clear he was trying to do that. Now, Big Spider Mike would absolutely throw down with this guy if that's what the guy wanted. But he was trying to hand him his phone back. But if the guy wanted to throw down, Mike would have been happy to go there with him. Whereas I would be unhappy to throw down with anybody, but I will. I'm just not looking for it. Not happy that somebody else ended up taking the phone. But, yeah, there were people who were out there and were initiating violence. And they had, they weren't ours, I'll just say that. It wasn't a very large group, but it was a very aggressive group of MAGA protesters causing chaos. Now, if you are causing chaos, I'm absolutely willing to see you face the consequences for that. And that includes allies. I'm not going to help. I'm not going to go out of my way to film our guys doing things they shouldn't be doing. But I film the driveway when I'm out here. And the only reason why I will follow anything else is because of something, you know. I'm out here to record what's happening with ice. So I follow the driveway because that's where ice tends to be. So if you go into the driveway and do something stupid, you're on camera right there. You're on camera right there. And there's a third camera back there behind the gate. All three of those cameras are 8K. The resolution is phenomenal. You could be over at the Reach building, back where the costume booth used to be, and they could read what's on a hat you were wearing. So if you go over there where I'm filming and cause chaos, my video isn't going to help you. But it's probably not going to be what convicts you. Because I've got blurry ass 720p video. They've got 8K. So my recommendation to people is if you want to come out here to be annoying to the ICE agents, just be an irritant, make some noise, go right ahead. If you want to actually, do something illegal, make sure it's something you're okay with being arrested for. Because they will see you. And it won't be my video that convicts you of that crime. My video will just, show that you did it.
Yeah, I get it.
Yeah, no, that was a good picture. The Captain America dude kind of did himself in a little bit. And I don't even disagree with most of what he was saying. For those of you who don't know, this black dude, I cannot think of his name. People call him Captain America, but he's not the only Captain America protester. But the Oregon Captain America is this black dude. And he did some violent shit. He got arrested for it, but he also got arrested for threatening the president or some shit, or threatening somebody. And what he said, to my understanding and memory, which is a bit hazy, is that a protest is an implied threat. And I've said before, at its most basic form, that's kind of true. One of the things that was taught, I took an international relations undergraduate class, and I had no fucking idea what I was doing at the time. But the professor kept pointing out that force is fungible. And at the time, that was a new word for me. Fungible. F-U-N-G-I-B-L-E. It means that you can convert... If you have something like gold, let's say, it is fungible in that you can sell your gold for money inherently, and that it's easy to do so, and then you can use that money. I mean, you could basically use it as money, or so you basically have the ability to turn it into what you want, assuming that what you want can be bought. Force, which we tend to give governments, at least officially, the monopoly on the use of force, because we empower them to, enact and enforce laws and whatnot. But laws ultimately are about force. The government will say, you will do or you will not do X, Y, Z, or the government will use force against you, kidnap you from the street legally, versus what ICE does, which is often illegal, take you from the street, essentially sanctioned kidnapping, legally sanctioned kidnapping, at gunpoint, if necessary, and lock you in a place that is not your home and keep you there for a length of time. They can also take money from you so they can commit legalized theft of your wealth. And it's not theft because it's legal. The government has the power to do this and a monopoly on the ability to do that. It has the ability to use force. Well, the same thing happens for treaties and whatnot. We have the ability to use force. So, you know, the treaty we agree to is we agree to not use force and, in fact, to cooperate. Because we have this agreement about what we were going to do. I don't know if I'm explaining this concept nearly as well as my university professor explained it. Which is unfortunate because this is an important concept. But protests are literally us as protesters saying, we have the power to do things that we are not doing. We have the power to be violent. We are choosing not to be, or at least most of us are. Again, the ones who aren't are going to get arrested, and justifiably. We're choosing not to. We're opting to use our words rather than our fists, essentially. But we want you to know these are our words. Fists are an option. Or whatever else. That's what protests ultimately are, at their most base level. He was suggesting people go a little further than that and arm the fuck up. Now you got to be real careful when you start using those kinds of words, because if you use the wrong ones, you've made a threat. Even though a protest is some form of implied threat that we could do something, it is an implied possibility of a threat. It isn't a direct threat, we will do this. It is a, we could do this. Often leaving the what we could do unspecified. And in fact, it's when you stop leaving it unspecified that you start to run into legal problems. Now, he was trying to be careful, but he was being blunt enough that I don't think he was careful enough. But he was saying, hey, you know, we got a Second Amendment for a reason. And that reason is here. And he was saying, you know, now is the time to take up arms. That shit'll get you arrested. Now, I think he was trying to be careful enough to say, I'm not saying now is the time to start, you know, shooting people or anything. I don't think he was trying to say that. But I think the court is going to determine, and it'll come down to a jury. But But the jury's going to be able to bring in the fact that, you know, he did some stuff that they arrested him for arson. If you were talking shit like that and you're also being arrested for arson, a jury's likely to convict. So I will tell you, once again, I oppose violence. In fact, I oppose doing things that are illegal most of the time. You've seen me jaywalk. The day that we had the boxes of dildos, I don't know where those came from, but that was fucking hilarious. Night, Chris. Y'all saw me out here the day that they had the dildos. Now, I don't know if any of you saw me throw one, but I might have thrown a couple harmlessly. I think I threw a couple onto the roof over there, so somebody had to come out and, you know, sweep them up. One of them landed in the driveway. I threw it too hard. They were small. There was no property damage. I suppose if you actually saw which one was me, you could have hit me with a littering charge. Oh my God. Ask one of Portland's finest, whatever, to write me a ticket for littering. Now, if they wrote me a ticket for littering, I'd fight it. I was a law school candidate. Y'all, any of y'all who happen to be lawyers might, and I don't think any of you are, but there's a fair bet that my LSAT score was higher than yours. Now, the LSAT doesn't necessarily test your knowledge of the law, but if I had a ticket for littering when I threw a dildo at the building or onto the roof of the building, I would request a delay in the date that my hearing was a couple of times, so that there was a less chance that the arresting, or well, the ticketing officer was there to testify. I would then ask, which dildo was I accused of throwing? I'm sorry. Do you have evidence of which one? I mean, basically, it'd be like, what? Where's this evidence of what I'm supposed to have done? Was it photographed? There were other people who did the same thing. Which one was? I'd fight it. Hell yeah, I'd fight it. But the reason why I say I oppose any form of violence, and that includes, you know, property crime that is destructive. You can say there's a difference between a violence against a person and violence against a piece of property. Fine, whatever. You can even say that the property thing isn't violence. I consider, you know, an act of aggression that harms or destroys
I'm sorry. That is my definition of violence, and that is the definition the law agrees with. So, I oppose that just completely because I think it's wrong. But there is a point at which I recognize there is a point at which it would become no longer wrong. If we were literally in a revolutionary sort of situation, or war on our shores, or, you know, if somebody is attacking you and you have no choice, those are the circumstances under which I believe violence is appropriate. But initiating any of that shit is not, and I don't do it. So I will continue to say don't do it right up until the point where it became unavoidable to not do it. If the choice is, you know, to submit to the Nazi incursion, if we are in France after the German occupation, violence becomes appropriate because we're in France under Nazi occupation. Resistance by violent means at that point becomes necessary, because resistance by any other means, although you should do it, becomes largely ineffective. The fact that Portland police will not respond to violence against us, but is always happy to respond to something where they get to arrest us, is one of the reasons why people out here have very little love, basically none, for Portland police. If they actually gave a shit when somebody pulls out a gun, which has happened, by the way, if they actually gave a shit about that, I might have a little bit more respect for them. Yeah, that's the super chats, basically people paying, saying that they want to see more violence. And more acts of violence and cruelty. For me, that tells me all I need to know about MAGA. And it should tell you why I was never MAGA. Because that's not who and how I am. I mean, it would be a very short topic, because the right is, and I fucking hate this term because it has been abused. I'll wait for the bus. Love you, Tri-Man! I hate the term toxic masculinity. I fucking hate that term. Because, like so many other terms that are used in a hand-wavy sort of way, toxic masculinity is something that gets accused. People get accused of it when they're not doing it. But people on the right have decided to sanctify and consider to be virtuous things that are. And it is literally incel sort of behavior that they have that they have decided is okay. Men should have a right to have sex. Men should have a right to tell women what to do. Women should know their place. Also, white men should have the right to be superior. This is where the violence comes from, because anything that opposes that, if that is all right and morally correct, anything that isn't that is morally wrong, automatically. And I have a problem with that. I should have a problem with that. We all should have a problem with that. But folks on the right seem not to. How much of MAGA's bullshit directed at me, and we have seen it, how much of MAGA's bullshit directed at me is literally making fun of the fact that I have that I am an albino, that I'm legally blind, and that I have stage 4 cancer. What kind of sick motherfucker is gonna make fun of a guy who is blind and has cancer? What kind of worthless piece of shit do you have to be to mock these things? Answer. You have to be MAGA. Because MAGA does this all the time. They consider these things a virtue, and that's where the violence comes from. If these people are superior by virtue of the fact that they're manly men who are manly and also men, and also MAGA, then anything that threatens that is okay, is an okay target for violence. And isn't it strange that simply by existing and using words, a blind guy with stage 4 cancer, who sometimes, in fact, fairly often, has to cancel a stream last minute without notice because his chemotherapy has left him in so much pain that he can't come out here. That happens to me, as you guys know. How strong are these manly men who are manly and also men if I am a threat without ever touching them? Without saying a word? Or without doing more than speaking a word? Without ever actually touching them? Because if they don't physically come within 3 feet of me at all, I don't go up to them. Not knowingly, anyway. If I am more than 3 feet away from them, how am I a threat to them? My words. They are so afraid of what I have to say that they have to attack me any way they can. Because they have to show that they are strong. What have they actually shown? I'll tell you what they've shown me. They've shown me exactly how strong they are. They are the weakest motherfucking pussies on the face of the earth. If they have to attack a blind guy with cancer and mock my appearance or my disabilities, because they can't actually challenge me in debate. Holy shit. I mean, holy shit. They don't have any strength at all. And that's why they have to lash out with violence. Sorry guys, I'm scrolling through chat here. I do hate the misuse of the term toxic masculinity. I hate the misuse of the term, but once a term has been misused to a point that it that most people assume that that's what the term means, is literally I don't like you and you're a man, then the term has lost its meaning. It's lost its value. I have to say, when you have a crowd of people that are all kind of agitated and aggressive, police will often ignore disorderly conduct charges. They'll avoid arrest for that because they take the view that, and this happens on our side too, if they think that arresting somebody is going to increase the problem rather than decrease it, they'll let it stand. Maybe not forever, but to let it stand for now. So, this fucking man who ever lived, of being an albino, it doesn't matter if my blood isn't as white as some people's. It's pretty white, but it isn't as white as some people's. I got some interesting stuff in there. I've got a great grandfather who, a couple times great grandfather who was an honest sea merchant. Pretty sure the dude was a fucking pirate. Yo ho. It's the only thing exciting in my family tree, and I'm keeping it. And part of the reason why my my lineage isn't completely white is because my few times great grandfather, who was probably a pirate, went for some booty. When does chemo end? Probably never. It's a tablet. I take it twice a day. It did cause my hair to thin substantially. Coming out! That asshole who wants to stun my camera with the strobe light is yeah, the chemo doesn't end because it is just a tablet. It causes only a few side effects. It causes pain, which I can treat, and the pain isn't constant. It causes immune deficiency, which is not complete. I just get colds more easily and other viruses, and I got to be really careful about flu season and whatnot. And it causes me to be more sensitive to the sun. Yeah. Oh, and I could go blind. It causes me to be more sensitive to the sun, and I could go blind. Too late. No, it actually does make me more sensitive to the sun. It actually did do that. I did stop taking it in August of 2019, and the cancer did come back by January of 2020, so I was off it for less than 4 months. I went in and I said to my oncologist, "Hey, John, you missed a spot." And he's like, "Okay, which one? If I missed anything, it was a cell, and you damn well know it." I know. But then he says, "Which of my nurses put you up to saying that?" None of them. I've known you for a decade. At this point, I figure I can And that's the thing. I would never actually try to harm them. Except by virtue of Are you headed back over there?
I'm taking these back.
Oh. Well, I was going to take cookies over there. I'm taking cookies to the guys across the street. Be right back, guys. There's a car coming. Every time I want to cross the street, there are cars coming. Cookies have been passed on. Ugh. Oh, I was going to go back over and tell you what, guys. I am going to take you across the street for a bit. That is what I will do. Ugh. Again, every time I want to cross the street, there's a car coming. Both directions.
This one has, I put a spring on it, but I think it's a little bit too,
Oh, cool.
like, too strong, you know? Tighten this down and it'll tighten this up.
Oh, this is neat. Yeah, that's that should be a pretty effective clamp. And I've always been fond of the screw type clamps.
Yeah, they had it a little bit different. Like originally, they had it so like the screw screwed into the top to outside piece also.
Mm-hmm.
But I didn't like that because that way like it didn't tighten it down. It just stayed in one spot. So you had to get it tight and then screw it all the way through the whole thing. But so the screw hole for the hole for the outside part, so could slide all the way through easily.
So Heather had been making, this is a phone chest mount. And it's, that'll be nice. And you need, 1.25 inches. This is 1 inch. This looks like it's made for 1.25 inches. Okay.
And about your cart, I've been out of filament, so I've been just making the last couple pieces out of carbon fiber.
You're gonna need to make this a little thicker, I think. This the part that actually holds the webbing.
Yeah. I will on the next go around.
Yep.
This is carbon fiber.
Oh, very nice. Very nice.
Except for trying to smooth that out is a bitch.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is.
'Cause as soon as
Oh, and getting the bits of filament on the end,
that's
on the inside.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, it's a bitch.
You probably need to get in there with some
Ooh,
chip clippers.
That's my song right there.
Yep. Hopefully, I will not need to trim the music out. Hopefully, I'm far enough away. I won't have to. Oh no, I'm not going to be if I stay over here. So much for monetization on this video. All of 2 cents. I still get the super chats anyway. And you know, if anybody contributes using coffee or whatever, that goes that bypasses any monetization on YouTube.
Yep.
It's a good song. I always liked it.
And before, after just as well. Called number one, or called one.
Yeah, I would say that rabid tribalism is a good description of it. Shell says that not all of the MAGA folks suffer from toxic masculinity. A lot of them suffer from rabid tribalism. That's fair.
Yeah, I can see that. Yeah, so I've gone through 2 of my my deburring tool bays, trying to get.
Yeah, best thing for cleaning those out is going to be chip clippers, and that'll get it mostly down, and then you basically take a file for the rest. And not a diamond file, because you're going to lose too much material before you actually get it smooth.
Yeah, I mean, I've got like a nice set of precision files.
Yeah, but those tend to be actual metal files, or
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, metal files.
the diamond coated ones. You just rub the diamond off.
Oh, yeah. No, they're metal, and the reason why I said the precision is because like they're really skinny,
Yeah.
and like some of them are round, and
But yeah, your best thing would be to take some side cutters that are designed for electronics.
yeah.
That's going to be your best bet for cleaning that up. So, Discord link is in the Nightbot for it. The Discord is small. I'm making my YouTube mods on the Discord as well. But absolutely feel free to join that, and vote for or even suggest TV shows. I'm looking for stuff that is. I mean, we don't have to. We can just watch stuff that's fun. But stuff that is that kind of deals with politics, but not necessarily our politics. Because when you have stuff that isn't our politics, it removes the heat of discussing our politics from it.
And them against us, you know.
Yeah, it removes a lot of the tribalism because
You don't have any stake in the game.
yeah. Hey Lisa, it's all right. I will probably be on this stuff for the rest of my life, but it is something that I can deal with, and it sure as hell beats the alternative. Now, that and the fact that I'm 48 and not 28 means that I don't want to get into a fight. That doesn't mean I don't know how, and it just means that if I have to fight dirty, and I do, there's just a lot more reasons why the jury's going to go, justified.
There's no rules when it comes to fighting. Because if I'm fighting for my life.
Well, but see, that's the thing. If you're fighting and you're fighting for your life and you're fighting as though you're fighting for your life, and it looks like it was just some barroom brawl. Oh, you got a couple of wild ass swings from a drunk, and you went for precision like throat punch or something. Jury's likely to take that a little differently than it is for me because. But I also recognize that, if I'm in a fight, I'm likely to be hurt, and I may not come out of it. Exactly. Very likely. Exactly. Even if it is just, a barroom brawl. So I will choose to avoid one and stay out of it. And
that's why I do everything humanly possible to stay out of fights.
Oh, wow. Even my camera can see beyond the gate when the lens is clean and they've got the lights on in the yard.
That video?
I did. I got it.
Okay.
So less than a minute long, and I only saw 2. I didn't see 3. Oh, you said there were 3.
Yeah, it was.
Oh, because the thermal wasn't giving you much.
No,
or the thermal did.
The thermal is like pretty much was best that you could see. The IR and the
oh, because you didn't have enough. The regular you got black. IR you got very little.
Yeah.
And then the thermal was okay. It's less than a minute long and there's no audio, and I will explain what's what when I post the video. I'll just do a little voiceover.
That's what I figured you could do, because I didn't think that they'd want to just hear us, talking.
Anyway, I'm gonna go back across the street before I get completely, because it can't always do the demonetization. We got 2 buses coming. We love you, TriMet! $35 and a $40. In case it ends up muting that audio when I do what I need to do, so it's like, oh, you're demonetized now. Actually, what I hope is that the Metallica, which used to be all, Napster bad back in the day, is going to be like, yeah, whatever, we don't care on YouTube. We'll just take some money from it. Or maybe they've decided they just don't care. That's a possibility that exists. I mean, it depends on the chemotherapy, Noel. It really does. If all I got to do is take 2 pills twice a day, speaking of which, I have not taken my medicine yet, and I need to do that. It's getting kind of late. Those be the pills I take right now. And 2 of them, 2 of the larger ones, are yeah, I got enough. Two of the larger pills I took there are my chemotherapy drug. I just have to deal with, some days I'm in a fair amount of pain, and if I take more oxycodone than I need to, I end up sleeping. It's not good to do that. But it also means that pulling, nearly 100 pounds of crap with me is not something I can do. It's a little less than that now because I got these folding chairs. It's replacing my old folding chairs with these ones, as cheap as they are, lighten my load by 10 pounds. Fuck ice! Shell is a moderator. What I'm seeing is I don't know why all the names went white. I want to undo that. I don't like that. I wonder if that was just me on the phone app, but yeah, if there's a setting that controls that. I miss people being green. Like Nola's white instead of green, and my mods aren't blue. Yeah, I'm not seeing green members. I'm not seeing blue mods. I'm seeing anybody who is not a regular user is white. And I don't know what causes that. That's not what I want it to do. I want it to actually be, you know, I want my blue and green so I can see who's who. If anything, I want the people whose names are gray to be white. That is prime advice. You cannot make a good deal with a bad person. And that is the advice that I would give to Hakeem Jeffries about negotiating with anybody in the Trump camp, including Jared Kushner. You cannot make a good deal with a bad person. That is fucking Uncle Iroh shit right there. Ooh, that's a show we should add. We should add Avatar: The Last Airbender, the animated version, because I am fucking sure that there are adults watching my stream who have not seen this because they heard it was for kids and it's a cartoon. Have not seen Avatar: The Last Airbender. I'm sure that there are people who have not seen this. And holy shit, politics? If you want to talk politics about a fucking TV show, Avatar: The Last Airbender, and actually also The Legend of Korra, although season 2 of Legend of Korra is kind of bullshit. But no, Avatar: The Last Airbender is amazing for its politics. I see a sliver of moon right there behind the tree, but it's too far over to actually get it in frame. So if you want to add something to the list of TV shows to consider for our watch parties, you can just join the Discord and go to the voting channel and type /poll and the name of the TV show, and then create a thread and describe the show in the when it opens the thread window. Before I decided that I just was going to delete that shit, one of my early videos there were a lot of people out here, and some of the people here were people who, live in the Reach building. So they were just coming outside, and they had obvious disabilities, and some fucktard MAGA comes out and says, I work for Social Security, and I'm going to identify every single person out there and cut off their disability checks. I pinned that comment, or at least I tried to. I didn't have I tried to pin it, and I didn't have access to pins yet. So what I did was I screenshotted it, and I also just clicked through his YouTube, because he made a name not show up at all, but his YouTube page actually showed his name, his real name. So I screenshotted it, clicked through to his profile, pointed out it showed his name, which I censored because, frankly, I'm just a better person than he is. And, shone a light on him. And said straight up, this is why you guys are going to lose. That is the moon behind the tree. It doesn't show up as well on... it shows up better not on camera because the camera picks up too much light from everything else. The U.S. allows people who are in the military and actively deployed to vote. And I think it is possible for expats to vote in federal elections, but not state elections. I wouldn't swear to that. You basically have to pick a state to be a resident of. Because you get that ballot. But I think the state can send you a federal only ballot or something. I need to research that. Most expats don't vote in US elections though. I think it is possible, but I think they don't. However, non-citizens are not allowed to vote in federal elections at all. Some states will allow you to vote in local elections and even state elections, but you cannot vote in a federal election. So if you can't prove you're a citizen at the time you register, then you don't get a ballot that has federal candidates on it at all. They do print a couple of, alternate ballots for that reason. This person cannot vote in federal elections, so they don't get a federal ballot. Stuff like that. Originally, Geyer's phone was just laying there, and Mike knew it was Geyer's phone, so picked it up and tried to give it back to him. Geyer didn't want to take it back right then because playing it up for the cameras, as he does. Of course, they've gone and made all of their streams private, so far as I know, because they were fucking idiots, out of control, aggressive, violent. Their videos were either going to be heavily edited or not make them look good. The thing about Mike doing anything out there, if Mike's on probation and whoever he did whatever to isn't, he can end up in trouble for that. And they won't, because they're not on probation. Even if they initiated stuff, even if they were... It's so fucking stupid. I wouldn't call Mike vulgar necessarily. I mean, it depends on what you mean by vulgar. His language could be vulgar, but then so can mine. Hothead? Yeah, that's fair. I think even he would say that's fair. See, the thing is, a lot of us who are hotheads are aware that we're hotheads. Joseph needs to wash his screen. Gross. I think I got some lotion on my screen. Some ointment, actually. So I need something that can clean up an oil-based smudge. I have to use 6 different kinds of ointments and lotions on my skin just because melanoma sucks. Okay, so you can see green and blue, so it's a setting I changed somehow. I need to figure out what it is and change it back. I don't like it! I'd say that's a fair assessment. That there is a mic at every protest, and you would rather them have your back than be in your way. That's totally fair. Coming out from behind the tree. No, it's getting lower. It's not going to come out from behind the tree. Yes. I mean, you could theoretically click on both of them, the thumb up and the thumb down, but why would you do that? Discord doesn't really have a voting thing. It's pretty much, yeah, vote for one. And it is a thing like a YouTube that you can click and unclick. It's just if you vote yes and then vote no, it will accept both votes. So you have to, if you vote no, you need to you need to actually unclick the yes, or you'll count as having voted both ways. I mean, really, seeing the way MAGA behaved at these events and protests and whatnot, that puts so much of their behavior in perspective. Now, unfortunately, some of our people, especially the ones who drink a bit, will kind of make fools of themselves after they've had a few. If you want to have a drink, go ahead. But if you don't have great impulse control after you've had a drink or two, maybe you shouldn't. Just saying. I'm not your mom. Oh, Brandy, yeah, that is such a big deal. And it's really upsetting. It's really upsetting. It really does, honestly. I'm with the Brits. I like my I like to consider things over 70 to be at least very warm, and I like to consider things under about 50 to be very cold. I like my very temperate, it doesn't get too hot or too cold. Unfortunately, it gets both, too hot and too cold, pretty frequently now. I have, if it were not so humid, I have this, which, let me pop it out of there. This is a very light material. It's a cooling towel. You wet this down, and if your shirt is made of the same sort of material, and you guys should be able to see, yeah, you guys can see the light through it. Wow. If you put that, your shirt is made of the same material, it'll dry really quickly. But you wet this down, and it will stay moderately wet, but it will evaporate, and it will, cool you off. It's pretty damned effective, so I do keep one with me. But y'all saw me wearing shorts. I can't wear these except after dark or at home, inside my apartment. So I got dressed knowing I wasn't coming out until damn near 8 o'clock and the sun would already be down. But even then, because I'm wearing these very thick, like, if you've ever had like a neoprene wrist brace, my legs are wrapped in that from, just below the knee down to the ankle. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 neoprene strips wrapped around my leg, basically. With like a sock underneath it. It's a compression sock. Basically because of the swelling in my leg, which was already there before the chemo, but it's worse afterward. It's not venous in my case, it's lymphatic. And in my left leg, it's particularly bad because my foot was run over when I was 13. I think Bree's solution is simply just to wear swimwear because that way she's very, very easy to cool off. Also because anytime you see her and she's not in the river, she would much rather be in the river. If I had a nickel for every time I've lived through the hottest summer ever, I'd have about 30 nickels, which isn't a lot of money, but it's weird that it's happened that often. No, it has actually gotten cooler for a few years, and then it got warmer again. We did a lot to try and get, take care of greenhouse gases, and it was working. And then we decided to stop working on that, and when you decide to stop trying to stop greenhouse gas emissions, what you wind up with is more greenhouse gas emissions. And then more temperature from it. You can barely see that moon now. Can I get an angle where you can even see it's there anymore? I cannot. Well, boo. Ooh, what was that? Cannot see. There's some bright headlights over there. And that's interesting that the summers keep getting hot over the past decade, because that means that we had an effect for a while on causing temperatures to go down. But they're going back up again because we've stopped trying to keep them from going up. It's irritating. Well, guys, I think I'm going to start packing up because I'm having some GI issues. Basically, my stomach hurts. And I don't know why it should at this point, actually. But it's uncomfortable, so I'm going to go do something about it. Probably eat something a little more than that sandwich. I will be back out here tomorrow because you guys have contributed. Unless the one that seemed to there was one that seemed to be kind of right wing aligned. People who do super chats on the right undo them often. So if that happens, well, we didn't make our 5, but I think I'm counting it. So I should be out here tomorrow night. If it has to be rescheduled for Thursday, if I'm not doing any better, then it will be. But no, I want to come out here. And we can discuss on the Discord tonight or tomorrow topics. In fact, I should create a channel for topic ideas. Content, give me content. Okay, this person made a U-turn. I was a little concerned because it seemed like they're going to pull right up onto the curb. And I didn't want to be run over. Anyway, guys, yeah, it is after 10. I'm sorry it's a bit of a shorter night tonight. But, yeah, I'm not feeling the greatest, so I'm going to cut it here. And I'll be out tomorrow. Thank you guys very much. Contributions are basically going to help buy a better camera, which is interesting because if I end up getting the phone that I'm looking at, which is an Armor 27, it's got a larger screen, but it's an LCD, not an OLED. It's got an anemic processor, but the anemic processor is still better than the one that this phone has. It's got twice as much RAM as this phone, and it's got a better camera than the base model Pixel 6, but not as good as a base model, Pixel 9 that it would be competing against, or Pixel 10 that it'd be competing against. The thing is that the Pixel 9 does not have an IR camera, which is useful if you have a big IR spotlight, which I'll post the video. And the thermal, which is cool. I'll post a video of the thermal and IR and the regular. It's less than a minute long. It has no audio, but I will see if I can put some audio over it or something. Anyway, I'll see if I can post that in the next day or so, and I'll see you guys tomorrow night. Until then, have another taco, everyone, and I will see you tomorrow. I'm Joseph. Have a good night. Oh, and fuck ice! Just for good measure, because we haven't done that much tonight. Good night, everybody.